What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Voice of Reason. We are your hosts. I am Jeremy Baker. This is Mike Falino. And man, we got a lot to talk about. So we're going to review some topics of the last week or week and a half or so. First,
a lot of dumb stuff. Oof.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom destroys Ron DeSantis' presidential hopes, I think, anyway.
It was like as he had any.
He made him look so silly, and we'll show. We have video clips from that, of course. Elon Musk actually has a out loud brain fart in front of a live audience, and decides the best way to attract advertisers is tell them to go F themselves. So yeah.
He does.
And then we're going to compare Trump and Biden again, what's going on with each one of them. And allow you guys to make up your own minds on which you think is more appropriate to have access to nuclear weapons.
Wow. It took a lot for you to get that out as nicely as you did.
Yeah, right. That was off the top of my head too. So what's going on, Mike? How was your weekend?
Okay, I gotta tell you, I'm having some serious headache. Yesterday, it was like 75 degrees outside. Today, it's cold as shit and rainy. I gotta tell you.
I know, it's miserable right now on the East Coast.
The weather has got to figure itself out over here. The East Coast is having a weird time, man. And we're not even having the worst of it. It's not like we're getting floods or people are dying from heat exhaustion, but it's confusing to my skull. Let's just say.
It is. It is. All right, so let's get right into the topics. First, of course, we have to talk about the Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis beatdown.
It was something,
if you will. It was bad.
It was almost an example of bullying because it was so bad.
The ref should have called it. Like DeSantis' side should have thrown the towel across the stage. He's done. He's done.
Yeah.
He can't stand anymore. We can't do it. His heels are killing him.
Definitely should have Rocky Ford that shit and thrown the towel in.
Right? Yep. They just killed Apollo Creed. All right, let's show the first video and just look at how uncomfortable Ron DeSantis is.
He's like,
I can't tell if he's trying to smile or if he had too much Adderall before the show and is grinding his teeth. Just
stand straight.
I do have a follow-up question.
In California.
Ron, I'm happy that you continue to talk. Let's talk a little bit about Bidenomics because I'm happy to take that on right now as well. And I think it's a fair point.
You're a big supporter of it. I appreciate you acknowledging
14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined.
Because he had
815,000 manufacturing
the jobs were because of the COVID lockdowns. Are you kidding me?
3.9% unemployment. As he continues to talk over me, I'll talk to the American people. 3.9% unemployment, the lowest black unemployment in American history, the lowest unemployment for Hispanics in American history, the lowest unemployment for women in 70 years, the lowest black poverty rates in history. That's this administration's agenda. And by the way, as you smile and smirk over there, you should know this, the American people. Here's a guy who celebrated Bidenomics just this week, celebrating $28 million that came into your state because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR.
This is not a moment to
I'm proud of the work Biden inherited.
This is not a moment to smile. Like, you should be just mad and just like, you should. I don't get that.
Look,
it's so awkward.
I'm not jumping at the chance for another older white guy to be president, but Gavin Newsom is definitely going to run for president at some point. And even though he at least knows how to do the politician talk, he's good at it and he's dropping facts. He's not bullshitting. He's literally pointing to positive changes. The CHIPS Act alone, as someone who comes from an electronics manufacturing background, the average person does not understand what being beholden to Taiwan and China is doing to our prices and the ability to manufacture goods. The fact that President Biden was able to get people in this country to agree to start companies and bring work back from a manufacturing perspective is astounding. And someone like DeSantis, who doesn't have a manufacturing industry in Florida, there is manufacturing, but they are not a powerhouse of manufacturing.
No,
he doesn't care because he's catering to his racists and his fascists, and that's it.
Right. And not only is Florida 46th out of 50 on SAT scores now, They have driven all the migrant workers out. They've tried to demonize and criminalize LGBTQ. They're losing doctors because doctors aren't able to perform life-saving abortions because of the extreme abortion policies.
What did I read earlier? I'll read that. Right.
And that was another one from Texas
earlier.
too. That was awful. That lawsuit in Texas, which we got to talk about that in the future, about the mom who can't get an abortion. She won the lawsuit to get permission to get an abortion, possibly life-saving abortion on a non-viable fetus, or is it non-viable? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, non-viable fetus.
And then the attorney general overturned it, said, no, you have to carry that baby. Like, this is insane. This is the stuff they do.
That's what
teachers are going to leave because they're not allowed to teach the books, and then they're getting in trouble for what's in the libraries. Like, DeSantis is ruining the state of Florida.
What about the businesses that are running
businesses
away?
Are leaving. I mean, the hospitals, if they are supposed to ask your immigration status at the hospital if you go in for emergency care.
Which goes against the Hippocratic Oath. Well,
which I just read that happens in Florida.
Right before the show, I've been seeing this show up this morning. It's not just businesses. We mentioned several shows ago. There was I believe it was like the National Organization for Black Universities, something like that, took their annual convention out of Florida. Well, just recently, and I'm going to read this from one of the posts that I've been seeing talk about this, is the National Black Nurses Association, a well-known healthcare organization in the United States, has decided to relocate its annual conference from Florida to California, specifically stated due to the political climate that is going on there. So it's not even so much that they're afraid to be seen there. They're afraid for their people's lives. Okay, Florida is not a safe place for Black people anymore. It's not a safe place for liberal-minded progressive folks anymore. It's not safe for anyone that wants to live a life that is good and compassionate and geared towards helping other people, because that's really what people like Ron DeSantis is trying to stop, helping people that they don't deem worthy of help. That's what they're doing. Exactly. And Newsom is trying to stand up and show that a Biden presidency is not only helping jobs and helping people, they're fighting to keep people's lives safe in an environment like a Florida, like a Texas, where it is no longer safe to just be a woman, to be Black, to be gay.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I like that they're relocating to one of the most liberal cities in the country, in San Francisco, which is also just happens to be one of DeSantis's talking points. And
he got you. He had a gotcha moment.
He did. He actually showed up a poop map. Yes. This is so funny. I can't believe this is real.
So many questions.
As the debate drew to a close, DeSantis actually whipped a printout out, purportedly from a user-generated app tracking human feces found on the streets of San Francisco.
What is it?
Oh my God! And it's fun because DeSantis made a video before when he visited San Francisco, and one of his talking points was people defecating in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I want to know what organization out there is tracking human shit on the streets of San Francisco? Who got paid? Does somebody get paid to walk around? And
that's my question. Is someone like watching homeless people poop, or is someone just assuming every turd they come across is human? Or are they actually scooping up the turds indiscriminately and sending them off to a lab that's testing them? Like, I don't understand.
And who do they report it to? Like the average person walking down the street sees a turd and then opens his turd tracker app and puts, I found a turd on the corner.
If you see poop, say poop. That's what it is.
That was his big gotcha moment. You got
if you see turd, say turd.
It's the funniest shit. I mean, it's the funniest stuff I've ever heard.
No, you're right.
It is literally the funniest shit I've ever heard. Yeah.
The Republicans are unserious people. They are stuck, and especially Ron DeSantis, who, and at one point, Gavin Newsom even pointed out, I think, like Ron DeSantis created the concept of woke culture war that we see it as today, and it's consuming him. It's consuming him for two reasons. One, it's bullshit and no one agrees with it unless you're already a bigot. So no one agrees with the anti-woke nonsense because being woke by definition is getting your head out of your own ass. The second reason is because it's come to a natural conclusion. At some point when you just go woke, but you have nothing to do to solve any of the people's problems, they kind of go, okay, maybe I don't agree with, your version of pushing LGBTQ, which is not happening. But
right.
what the fuck are you, excuse me for people who are offended by harsh language. What are you doing for me? What are you actually doing for me? Okay,
It's
so
funny that
even
you
if
let
these
slip
people agree with the anti-woke nonsense, they still want to know what their politicians, what their governor. Okay, this is a man who is still the governor of a state, and the
Yeah.
state is rotting away, and
It
he's
is.
doing nothing but hurting it by going out. And don't forget, it's not just the policies in Florida that everyone's abandoning; it's Ron DeSantis that
right.
they're abandoning.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to put the numbers to it, I think California, I believe, has one of the highest, as a state, has one of the highest GDPs in the world.
Yes.
I mean, it is thriving.
They are like
so,
the
I mean,
third or fourth largest one on the planet or something
all
ridiculous.
Right. So I gotta show the second video. This is the slam dunk, like knockout Apollo Creed's going down moment. Wow, this is bad.
Very directly, I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here to tell the truth about the Biden-Harris record and also compare and contrast Ron DeSantis' record and the Republican Party's record as a point of contrast that's as different as daylight and darkness. You want to bring us back to a pre-1960s world, America in reverse.
Oh,
you want to roll back hard-earned national rights on voting rights, on civil rights, on LGBTQ rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but also access to contraception. You want to weaponize grievance. You are focusing on false separateness. You in particular, Ron, are on a banning binge, a cultural purge, intimidating and humiliating people you disagree with. You and President Trump are really trying to light democracy on fire. So, Sean, there are profound differences tonight.
He knows
I look forward to engagement. But there's one thing in closing that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
And Apollo Creed goes down.
Bomb. Somebody call an ambulance. And he should have been wobbling on the stage after that hit.
You know what's really funny about that is, yet again, all you have to do is listen to an eloquent human speak. Okay? What Gavin Newsom did is eviscerate not only Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, but the entire Republican Party and movement. And he did it without calling anyone a weird name, Ron DeSanctimonious. He did it without implying that Chris Christie is fat. He did it without name calling, making up lies. He literally just went, these are the receipts.
Yes.
And this is your record, and these are the real stats. And that's it. And he came across likable, intelligent, and factual, where Ron DeSantis is standing there with his robot grin. I must grin and say I'm woke. Come on.
I know he's smiling at the wrong time too, but he's right though. His whole agenda is a cultural purge. He called it. You know what I mean?
They're not even hiding
Don't support any government or any body of whatever that bans and even burns books, because that's happening in this country too. That is oppression. That is against the freedom. You know, like I wrote a book. I wish somebody honestly would ban my book. Maybe it would sell then. But that's besides the point. You know, maybe you can't pick and choose. Like we can't. If you're going to ban a book, ban something like Mein Kampf. You know, if you want to,
which I don't even agree in banning. That's the
right,
beauty.
because it's still right.
You're
It's literature.
You're pointing out the hypocrisy.
Right, you can't ban one, not the other, but they're banning books about being gay or books that have cartoon characters that have two dads that aren't even real. You know what I mean? And they're saying that they're hypersexualizing the kids by doing this. It's like, oh my god, y'all.
Well,
dumb.
It's funny the reason they use the hypersexual thing, and this I don't know if this is a proven thing or just my own, but the reason they think that teaching about queer people is hypersexualizing is because the typical Republican traditional nonsense literally sees men and women based on who has sex with who. They believe that women's job is to receive the seed and give babies, and they believe that men's job is to spread the seed. So when they think that just teaching that two men can love each other is teaching sex, it's because in their mind they immediately go to, well, what are they going to teach them about anal sex or oral
I know, right?
sex?
This is
No, they're not teaching them about sex. They're just saying that two men can love each other. It's the Republicans that are hypersexualizing everything in their own mind. They look at kids and go, got to make sure that pee-pee, we all know they have a pee-pee. It's important. Let's check.
right. Yeah,
Like,
and
that's
then
the
keep in mind,
Republicans.
like people like Mike Johnson, they believe in stuff like conversion camps, and he's,
Yes, they
they're
do.
second in line to the presidency who believes in conversion camps.
I think we need
That's terrifying.
deprogramming camps.
We are this close. I don't think people understand how. Yeah, we do need deprogramming. We're in trouble for saying that, but
kidding.
there has to be some kind of. I mean, Hillary was right. There has to be some kind of deprogramming.
I'm not a Hillary
Because
fan,
there
but she was
has
right
been.
about a lot.
Yeah, there was a mass programming of the country thanks to places like Fox News, right wing media, OAN, stuff like that.
Coordinated
They went
programming.
out of their way to make people not believe the facts and believe alternative facts. And it's crazy what has actually happened to this country. And we're talking tens of millions of people. But anyway, let's move on. All right, Elon.
Oh,
We have the out loud brain fart here on our show. He does an interview. I forget what this is for.
it doesn't
And Elon is still under the illusion or delusion that he's going to turn Twitter into this hyper successful all-in-one app where you can, you can buy stocks, you could book an Uber, you can do anything you want all on this one app. And keep in mind, like Mike said before the show, this is the guy that randomly will at will turn off satellites. And how can you want people to trust you to put their finances into your app? I don't think so, man.
What dumb moron would buy stocks through anything Elon Musk owned? Like,
right.
wow.
Right, exactly. And the guy constantly, he buys good ideas. He doesn't have good ideas, people. He just buys them. And when you're a multi-billionaire, right? Do you know how many people come to you when you have that kind of money? You don't even have to look for ideas.
He just sits there
beating your door down for your money. Right. And he goes, oh, this sounds like a good idea. Let's do this one. He didn't invent Tesla. You know what I mean? He didn't invent PayPal. He didn't invent anything.
SpaceX.
He he didn't invent space rockets or anything that SpaceX has built.
He's a Nepo baby that bought things.
Exactly. But every time he gets involved with his own projects, bad things happen.
Yep.
Example, the Tesla self-driving. He put unrealistic expectations on all the engineers at Tesla and released it. And they even said it's not a good idea. Did it anyway. And then the car crashed. Now we don't have self-driving anymore. But this one,
he actually put that back longer. Like, look, I know I'm a giant sci-fi nerd, and we could have a whole episode on how sci-fi actually does predict the future. But let me tell you something. Self-driving cars aren't science fiction forever. We're going to have them because at some point, as population densities continue to grow, we are not going to have room. Look, I implore anyone to come to Long Island and see what it looks like when a population outgrows its roads. It's bad. So at some point, we are going to have, maybe not all, but a large percentage of cars be self-driving. It will happen. Definitely. But it now is going to take even longer to overcome the nonsense and bullshit that Elon Musk forced on us, because he either wanted to get a little stock bump, or he wanted to get some pre-orders, or whatever it is.
So now, to me, that kind of makes me lose faith in the technology. If you put it out before it's sufficiently tested for safety, now future cars that have self-driving, I'm like kind of skeptical.
It's almost like capitalism does not drive innovation. Huh.
No, it's amazing. Let me put this first video on. And the first one is just kind of, he's so awkward on stage. I don't know why people.
The track record of the rocket is the best by far of anything. You could hate my guts next. You could not trust me. It is relevant. The rocket track record speaks for itself. With respect to Tesla, we make the best.
I just want to point out there real quick, the one thing that he says that I want to just point out, that I don't care if you trust me or not.
That's a problem.
What I mean? That's a problem, because if you're going to have platforms and rockets, we should be able to trust
me,
you.
like me, or indifferent. Do you want the best car, or do you not want the best car?
Well, pause it again.
So.
I want to bring up what you said before we started recording. Tesla doesn't make the best cars. They make
Thank
cars with flashy options. Okay, this is a Jeremy idea. This isn't mine. I want him to have credit for it. Because,
I'll go for
no,
it.
it's true, and I'll tell you why. Like, I don't remember when it was. It was a couple of years ago. My wife and I were walking in a mall that happened to have a Tesla store in it, which is already one of the weirdest freaking experiences. And in it, it has a screen in one of the Teslas that's bigger than the TV in my basement. Okay, it doesn't need to be. It has gull-wing doors, which are impractical but cool. Everything about it has lighting effects, ground effects, like we used to do in the 90s when we buy rope lights and put them under Ford probes.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
No,
like, it's not a car that anyone would say is the most well-built, sturdiest, and all of that. It just has the flashiest features, and that's all a Elon Musk type of person does. How do I get people to buy my thing? And then I don't care what happens to it because I sold them my thing. That's it.
He ties everything into the the system in there is built to play like PS5 level games, graphics wise.
What?
Why do you need that in your car? But everything runs off of that.
Because
so
the turn on screen is like,
ooh,
pretty.
Right, but if something goes wrong with that system or that screen, you're absolutely screwed because it basically
and you can't control your vehicle.
Right, your volume, your air conditioning, heating, cooling, everything's tied into it. So if that thing fails, and at one point they were overheating,
and that's not because the technology as a concept is flawed. Touchscreen, again, we're not going to have keyboards in the future. It's just not going to happen. Everything will be touchscreen. But I don't trust a person who literally just said, "Don't trust me, I don't care," to make the most efficient functioning technology. A giant touchscreen in a car is going to overheat 5 minutes in the car. Like, that's just what happened.
Yeah. All right, let me play the rest of this one. We still have a second one to get to.
So I will certainly not pander. And Jonathan, like, the only reason I'm here is because you are a friend.
Listen to this.
What was my speaking fee?
You're not making any. First of all, I'm Andrew, but it's okay.
He just said, the only reason I'm here is because you are my friend, Jonathan. How much did I charge you to speak here? And he goes, well, it's Andrew, actually. Some friend you are. And apparently they've known each other for a long time. So that's got to be degrading right there. But it gets worse. Do my Mike Lindell impression. But wait, there's more. So then he's going into rants on Twitter saying Bob Iger should resign from Disney for not advertising on Twitter.
Yes,
which
this is important.
In itself ridiculous. This is the guy who wanted to be the pioneer of free speech. First Amendment all the way. Well, First Amendment goes both ways. We have the freedom to not advertise on your racist platform, you dumbass, just because you think we should, you entitled, selfish little baby. It's so awful.
Understand what free speech is. I'm not going to go into a rant. It's just free speech is the ability to criticize, not say whatever you want without repercussions. That's it.
Right. So then he goes into this rant, which is just gold.
He's so clueless.
No self-awareness whatsoever. And this is going to backfire in his face.
But there's a public perception that was part of a apology tour, if you will.
This had been said online. These clips.
There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising,
no one's blackmailing you. That's not blackmail.
Fuck yourself.
But
go fuck yourself.
No one even knows what he's talking about.
I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
He's talking about Bob Iger.
Well, so again, he's saying don't advertise, but he's complaining that a business is choosing to not advertise, as is their right, because people that you support already said that in some court cases, a business can not make cakes for gay people. So if you're okay with that, and I know you are because you're a racist bigot, you have to be okay with a company choosing not to advertise on your platform.
Right.
Oh, wait, you're a hypocrite.
Right. Let's be clear. The reason people are pulling advertising is because they're finding their ads next to Nazi-like and anti-Semitic material, which obviously that's not what they want their company, their multi-billions of dollars company, to be associated with. It's pretty common sense. pretty good business practice, if you ask me. If I was Disney or one of these other mega companies, I would not want any of my stuff showing up next to anything anti-Semitic or Nazi-like. I mean, come on.
And wait a minute, isn't it the right that is upset when JCPenney's puts out a catalog with 2 moms? So again, you are trying to support the side that wants to be hypocritical bigots. And you're openly saying we are so hypocritical that we don't want that coming from the other side. We want to be able to pick and choose who we support, but you should have to support us. Is he saying that Disney is somehow legally obligated to advertise?
No.
Or is it what he trying to say is the Twitter platform that I broke is so vast. How could you not want to advertise on it? Well, they don't want to advertise on it because it's racist. You just let Alex Jones back, who is a scumbag racist bigot who was banned from Twitter. You just let him back on the other day. He immediately starts spewing more bigoted nonsense, and you're like, well, I mean,
and then
that's
he
okay.
Also recently revived the massively debunked Pizzagate theory. So then there was, I think, a 9,500% increase in Pizzagate conspiracy posts as a result of him.
Because
to me,
Twitter's turned into the bad side of Reddit. That's why.
Right. To me, all Twitter is just, it really showed everybody who Elon was. We always wondered for years, for a while, we thought he maybe was this good, whatever you want to call him.
We thought maybe he was a force for good.
Maybe. And then buying Twitter, he decided, hey, I can show my true colors now. And then, people don't like the real Elon. I could have told you that a long time ago. The guys, I mean, let's be honest. He grew up in South Africa in a rich white family during the height of apartheid. I'm not even going to get into the specifics of what that could include, but that's it.
Let's just say I'm pretty sure he grew up with an emerald butt plug already inserted.
Yeah, pretty much. At least a nice little pacifier. What's funny about that story? Because he hates that story, but he was the one that originally got everybody talking about it, because he actually admitted it, I think, one time.
Yeah, and his dad in several interviews is like, yeah, I took him there.
Yeah,
he knows where his money came from.
How do you think we got all this money? So, it's bad. It's bad. So anyway, I guess we can move on from that. Next, we're going to talk about, we want to compare, like a lot of these networks are doing, not just talk bad about Trump, but we want to compare the things Trump are saying as opposed to some of the things that Biden are saying or doing. That way you can see them side by side. To me, it's a real no-brainer who to pick because of posts like this. And I'm not even going to read this because it's so long.
And it hurts.
This is Trump verbally diarrhea all over Truth Social. And these are directly from his feed. You know what I mean? The Liz Cheney book that's caused the midnight or 1 a.m. complete act of lunacy. Yeah. And then Lincoln Project. We have, that's what I wanted to mention before. Last show or yesterday, I think it was. I thought I had the ad that got under his skin that caused this reaction, but I showed the wrong one. But luckily, we have it for tonight's show. And actually, you know what? I'm just gonna show that first. Why not?
Why the hell not?
Something. More and more people are saying it. You're weak. You seem unsteady. You need help getting around. And wow.
An anomalous, really an anomalous country, and you deserve.
Are you sure you don't have dementia? It runs in the family. Have you had a real doctor check you out? You keep confusing things.
And we did with Obama. We won an election.
Getting the facts wrong.
We just left pleasure. For paradise.
People laugh about it. About you. Even your own people behind your back. You're winning the primary, but losing your power, your strength, your manhood. Face it, Donald. You're just projecting when you call Joe Biden.
The Viagra pills. I love
He's
the
stronger
passive
than you,
aggressive.
fitter than you, smarter than you, a better man and a better president. Anyone can see it. And when you lay there at night, alone, you know we're right. You're falling apart, Donald. Breaking down right in front of our eyes.
Thank you so much,
God
Lincoln
bless.
Project, for another. Oh, I forgot to play the best part. God bless the United States.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. But you know what, though? Go ahead.
What?
No, I was just going to say, that comes up all the time in the comments that we have to deal with on a daily basis.
Oh, man, does it ever.
And everyone likes to say that they go, oh, you can't understand a thing Biden said. I'm going to say it very simply. you are one of those assholes that would make fun of the kids in your school that stuttered because you are too stupid to understand that a stutter is a physical thing and not an indication of someone's intelligence. You are the same type of person that would think deaf people are stupid. Okay?
Right.
You are stupid. You are ignorant. Comparing a Donald Trump who is clearly rotting from the inside and a Biden who literally is just dealing with a stutter and you can't tell the difference, you're an idiot. Okay,
Yeah,
that was my public service announcement.
There you go. Perfect. Like I said, we actually have some really good clips, but before that, let me go ahead and go over his response to that video. The perverts and the losers at the failed and once disbanded Lincoln Project and others are using AI, artificial intelligence, in their fake television commercials in order to make me look bad and pathetic as crooked Joe Biden. Not an easy thing to do. I'm not gonna read the rest of it because we read it yesterday, but it's so funny, man. It's so pathetic. He actually did some gala in New York, which I'm gonna find the video and we'll play it on our next show or next week's show. He's so upset about people calling him stupid. He actually says in a speech, I don't like when people call me stupid. And then he goes on for like 10 minutes explaining how genius runs in his family. I'm like, oh, he's
let me tell you something. It's really funny that he's talking about genius running in his family because what actually runs in his family is dementia. You know, I'm going to bring up a name that is like taboo in the Trump circles because of this person being a outlier. But Mary Trump, who is, I'm not going to say the only, but one of the only Trumps who is not worthy of putting in prison.
Right.
She details in her first book how they used to just basically spin Grandpa Trump around and pat him on the bottom and send him back upstairs. Oh yeah, go to work in your office. Like now, as someone who watched their grandmother rot away from Alzheimer's, I can tell you it is a terrifying, awful disease. It affects everyone. And anyone who has that in their family as a history should do what they can to go to doctors, get checked, make sure it doesn't affect you. But it is clearly affecting Donald Trump. Okay, the man is breaking down. He is at an advanced age. He is functionally no different in age than President Biden. Okay, 77 and sucking on McDonald's is the same as 80 and eating human food at that age. So for all intents and purposes, if you want to really compare mental ability and the degradation thereof, one has a stutter and one has a deep history of mental decline. And you're seeing that on display.
Right, and one is a nice guy that you would like to have around your family and
would trust around your daughter.
Right, and the other one is an asshole who you wouldn't want anywhere near your family. I wouldn't anyway. Some
people would offer up their firstborn to him.
I know, it's crazy how well, actually it goes into our next topic, the loyalists. We'll talk about this on Tuesday. We're going to read right from Project 2025's playbook. Off of their website, so you guys can see where all this information is coming from that we keep talking about. Fair and Balanced. I think it's Fair and Balanced or Ring and Fire. I don't know. Fair and Cousins does a video on this where they got the hold of some of the questionnaires. Their questions they're asking these loyalists that want to be on this 40,000 person strong.
They're trying to build an infiltration army to supplant the people that they call the deep state, which are really just the people that have jobs in the government. And they want to replace them with loyalists because they're really upset that the people whose job it is to just uphold the laws and keep government working aren't abandoning their oaths, their jobs, and their self-respect to just help Donald Trump. That's what they're saying.
This is why it's just so dangerous, because they tried this his last time he was elected, but it didn't
failed
succeed
coup
completely.
Is just a learning opportunity.
Right. They have learned this time. They're well organized this time, and they have a very detailed game plan on what they're doing. And the loyalists of Trump are the one part of it. So let's play this video.
Alumnus from the first Trump administration got their hands on the questionnaire, and they gave it to the reporters over at Axios. So now we know some of the questions that are being asked of these Trump loyalists. Questions like, what part of candidate Trump's campaign message most appealed to you and why? Briefly describe your political evolution. What thinkers, authors, books, or political leaders influenced you and led you to your current beliefs? What political commentator, thinker, or politician best reflects your views? Have you ever appeared in the media to comment on candidate Trump, President Trump, or
so
other
weird,
personnel or
man.
policies of the Trump administration? Name one person, past or present,
So
who has
weird.
most influenced the development of your political philosophy. Name a book that has most significantly shaped your political philosophy, and
They
please
should ask this
explain
of
its
Trump.
influence on your thinking. Name one living public figure whom you greatly admire and why.
Most of the answers to those questions are Trump. You know what I mean? Who's the
Talk
person
about
you
leading the
idolize the most?
witness.
Right. This is the actual questionnaire that they're asking for Trump loyalists. The Heritage Foundation will show the video on Tuesday where they say they want 40,000 people to weaponize the Department of Justice. They want to weaponize the government, and they want to do it in the first 6 months. They want all this to happen.
Are you saying they're saying they want to do what Donald Trump and the right is pretending that the left is doing to him? Oh, that's
exactly.
weird.
Yeah, it's so awkward, isn't it? We have what is a story from Raw Story. Republicans now demand prison for Trump critics.
I thought there's a trial before prison.
Right, for Bill Pascal. I say if I say it right, Pascal. Senator J.D. Vance is demanding the Justice Department open a criminal investigation into Robert Kagan, the Washington Post columnist who wrote an op-ed warning of a potential Donald Trump dictatorship. Vance's demands to prosecute an opinion columnist comes as allies of Trump are ramping up their threats to curtail press freedom under a second Trump term. Cash Patel was a awful, horrifying human being. Top security official in the Trump administration threatened that Trump will come after, quote, reporters and, quote, other conspirators in the media. That is straight up Nazi shit right there. So anybody that speaks out against them, they want to start prosecuting.
It's also fascinating. Cash Patel, a non-white person, really, truly believes that somehow he's going to use his money to escape the day before Trump gets elected. Because when Trump is elected, I mean, holy freaking hell, if Trump is ever elected, people like Cash Patel are not going to enjoy full citizenship. Okay.
No.
So if you're worried right now about what the mean old media is saying about your Lord and Savior, which also happens to be the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
What is he going to do when he has no more use for you? Because if he wins, he doesn't need a media outlet anymore. He just needs a propaganda office. And that's what someone like a Steve Bannon or an Alex Jones or a Tucker Carlson are going to do. Okay. They're going to be the chief propagandists. They're not going to tell you what's really going on. They're going to tell you what it is decided to tell you. Meanwhile, someone who is looking at the facts, looking at a Project 25, looking at Article 3, all of these things and going, wow, Donald Trump is preparing for a dictatorship. After Donald Trump said he would be a dictator only on day one.
Right? Yeah.
And they want to go after you.
I can't believe that's not disqualifying for an American president to say that during a presidential campaign. But all right, so he also said it was both reinstatements of the gag orders for, the one in Georgia, or I'm sorry, the one in New York and the one in D.C.
Yep.
And Trump is not happy about it. So the appeals court, they temporarily paused the gag order on November 16th, but then it was reinstated by a mid-level state appeals court last Thursday. He's already been fined $15,000 before they lifted the gag order. And the gag order in DC, I believe, was mostly reinstated with a couple tweaks, and he may have already violated that one by attacking, I believe it was Bill Barr in a recent
which is
speech.
funny.
It might be at the New York Gala one, I think it was. So he may already be in trouble there. We'll have to
so he's attacking a witness because it has recently come out that Bill Barr and Mike Pence are amongst the people that are going to be witnesses against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You look at just the New York case. This is how despicable a Donald Trump is, because he is trying to find someone that he can attack to get his people to, let's just say, do something against.
Yeah.
But he's also doing it in a way that shows he has no understanding of how the justice system works, and his lawyers can't keep enough control of him to even tell him to pretend that he knows.
Yeah.
His main argument against the person he's attacking in the New York case, he's attacking the clerk of the judge, and he's like, oh, well, during the trial, the clerk is handing the judge notes. Yeah, that's literally what their job is. The job of the clerk is to give information to the judge.
Right.
So the clerk is just doing their job, and you're just attacking them. and your stochastic terrorism eventually is going to catch up with itself, and someone's going to do something. Okay,
Exactly.
Someone will do something because people
I
have
agree.
done something.
I agree. So, all right, let's go. Let's play a couple videos. So we still got to talk about Biden. I didn't realize the time is flying here. All right. So
Holy
he
crap.
recently, I guess, well, I'll let Ben Meidas from the Meidas Touch Network. And the reason
Do
we're
it.
playing a lot of this stuff today is they recently celebrated. Well, I thought it was a celebration, but they recently interviewed Biden, which I think is huge for progressive media.
Yes.
Because I've watched them grow. I think I've been a member since they were about 800,000 subscribers, and they're now approaching 2 million. And this is all within the last year. So that's pretty amazing, I think.
Shows you that there's a desire.
But we have, they wanted to use the place. So they said, Janine, how did this happen? How did this happen? This place is packed. We love everything you stand for. Very, very special. And we don't let people use Mar-a-Lago very much. And
you use it all the time for everything.
Very, very important document.
That was Donald Trump on Friday night at an event hosted at Mar-a-Lago with a large group of people. I'm Ben Meidas from the Meidas Touch Network. You heard Donald Trump essentially confess, saying that they don't let lots of people into Mar-a-Lago because, quote, we hold very important documents.
I thought it was great because they were so secure.
Be entirely illegal.
Why would he say that, man?
You still held classified documents.
There's no thought process in his head. He just thinks he could say whatever he wants and get away with it because he and the Republicans believe that the president is a king and they can do whatever they want.
Right. He'll probably say, "Oh, that was a joke," even though no.
I was being sarcastic. It was a fake AI video of me.
I know, right?
AI cannot come up with someone as dumb as Donald Trump. Let me tell you.
No, I know AI is way too smart to pretend it's Donald Trump. They do all. I mean, it's a resort. It's not a person. It's not. It's registered as a resort. He has people that pay memberships to go to Mar-a-Lago. So I don't know.
It's literally a venue where people host weddings.
Yeah, they go there all the time. What are you talking about? So anyway, let me play this next video, and we'll go from there.
Waging an all-out war in American democracy.
Whoops.
It's okay if you want to go about 5 miles away from your house, but get back quick. They don't
go
go
far. Talking about?
Electric
they
cars.
Want to talk about your dishwashers and how much water you're going to have in your dishwasher, even though
important stuff that we are.
No one's talking about dishwashers, you clown.
That were so precious and dear, and that you never really appreciated until now because they want to take them away.
They don't want to take
heating
anything
and cooling
away.
in your house. They want to change it. They want to change everything. These people say,
it's not reality in any way, shape, or form.
I had to take a break because I felt my IQ drop like 15 points just by watching this.
The whole stupid thing. Forget it. They don't even
pose as defenders of democracy. You see, he was standing up there not so long ago with the pink and red background. That looked a little bit sinister. I don't know if he knew what the hell he was doing up there, but he was up there spewing the words that somebody wrote for.
How does anybody support this guy? I mean, we have showed repeated videos of just nonstop ridiculous. It's not even the speech. It's just
I'm so
salad,
sick.
A jumble of random. It doesn't even form a coherent thought.
I saw something, and I'm going to misquote it, and I don't even remember who said it. It was something someone posted, like on Instagram or something, and it was, "I'm not upset at Donald Trump's rage. I'm not upset at his stupidity. I'm not upset at his arrogance. I'm not upset at any of that. I'm upset at all the people who are just like that. And now we know. It's not even that the people that support him, it's the people that are him.
Yeah.
That's the problem."
I agree. So, all right, but moving on from Captain Dipshit over to President Biden, who likes to talk about amazing things that are going on, like the just recently approved multi-billion-dollar high-speed rail system.
Jobs.
They're planning on building. Jobs are through the roof, record-breaking jobs, low inflation.
Manufacturing is up.
Manufacturing is up. He's focusing on clean energy, which enrages Donald Trump because he's so obsessed with clean coal.
He's obsessed with the whales.
He actually thinks he's worried about whales and coal. He actually thinks clean coal. They take it out. They clean it.
They polish it.
This is the same guy. Okay, Donald Trump once said in his speech, I swear to God, you can find it yourself. I'm not going to look for it. where he was talking about how, because they were trying to explain to him how good these new stealth jets are, right? And he was like, well, how are they so good? They're like, well, you can't see them. It's really, the enemy can't see them. And obviously, these pilots were talking about radar. But Donald Trump went on stage and started explaining how they're so good, you can't see them. You can't see these jets.
He thinks everyone's flying around in a Wonder Woman jet.
He actually thought there was invisible jets, like we owned invisible jets, and that's how we defeat the enemy. It's so bad. All right, but anyway, President Biden Ben Meidas from Meidas Touch Network recently interviewed President Biden. We have a little thing from that yet. And then his lawyer said he never swore to defend the Constitution. What a effing nitwit. Not a real thing that he said, but it's probably something that he should have said, in our opinion. But let me play the first. This is another Lincoln Project video about Biden's positives on Biden.
Thing happened in this administration since it came about.
Now, Teddy Roosevelt had the square deal.
I like this guy too, man.
Had the
love Hakeem
New
Jeffries.
Deal.
So do
Truman
I.
had the fair deal. What President Biden, Democrats,
I think they're going to
all
run
of us have accomplished
Newsom,
in the last few
Jeffries.
years.
It's something.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Results matter. Inflation now is down to 3.2%.
I don't know who will be on
Wages are
top,
up
though.
to
That will be
4.4%. The economy is booming. 5.2% GDP growth in the last quarter.
With the gallon of gas now at the lowest Thanksgiving price since 2020, prices for gasoline down 9 straight weeks.
By so many measures, the economy is in good shape. Unemployment near 50-year lows. Wages going up. The economy, it is growing. Inflation, it is slowing.
Because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR. I'm proud of the work Biden and Harris have done.
President Biden and his team worked 24/7 with partners in the region to make sure that this release was possible. This is a president who is right now showing the American people what real leadership looks like.
It's amazing how many times in his career Joe Biden has been counted out, only to come back and prove the critics wrong.
Another great ad. But I mean, I love when you can fight back with the facts. They can make up all the lies they want, but in the end, we don't need to lie. We have all the facts that we need to prove. I'm just tired of people voting against their best interests.
Yes.
That is the most, I think that's one thing that dictators have proven throughout history, especially like people like Hitler. They can somehow manipulate an entire mob of people to completely vote against everything that is best for them, which blows me away.
Because people willing to do atrocious things to stay in power terrify people. And they should, because the average person doesn't want to have to rebel against their government. The average person isn't thinking about the rednecks that are going to try and shoot them and how they're going to have to defend their kids against a bunch of MAGA assholes. The average person just wants to live their life. But what do you do when you're a dictator? You make sure that living life is very difficult and you scare the shit out of them by blaming other people. So one thing that we try and do, and I think the progressive media in general is doing but needs to do better, you're not convincing anyone that at this point on, December 10th, 2023, you're not convincing anyone that is going to vote for Trump today to not vote for Trump. But it is important to keep the message of how monstrous a Donald Trump is and how functional a Joe Biden is. All right. A new poll came out the other day that said Biden finally slipped underneath Donald Trump in the polls. No, he didn't, because you're not polling the average American. You're polling the people that'll still pick up numbers they don't know on their home landline.
Right.
Okay. So you're not your polls don't mean anything, and you're not going to convince anyone anyway. Showing them the facts that jobs are up are not going to help someone that still hasn't gotten a job. Fine. Explaining to people that the egg prices, literally, we are having now investigations against people who own the egg farms because we know that they artificially kept the prices up. A president does not tell Exxon how to set the prices. What you have is a bunch of people that are trying to expect a president to tell corporations what to do, but they're a party that would be angry if a Joe Biden told corporations what to do. So what do you want? This is nonsense. You're not dealing with real people and intelligent human beings who are going to cast their vote in their best interest.
Right.
So,
and as far as, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Because I don't know what to say about these people and Donald Trump anymore.
I think
because
all we can do is try and save as many people as we can. Because, we might make fun of MAGA, we might make fun of Trump, but really all you got to do is denounce all that shit and come over to
wake up, go woke.
It's not that bad, man. Reality is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's shitty,
We have cookies, video games, and I got to tell you, go to a drag show. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's not bad. And it's not going to make you gay. You're not going to walk out of there a drag queen or it's not going to change your sexuality one bit.
If you do, welcome. Right. We won't hate you for it.
Right, exactly. It's cool, man. Just relax. Everybody's so damn angry all the time. All right, let me show a couple things that Biden's doing. So Biden administration is going to forgive $4.8 billion in student loan debt.
Socialism.
Yeah, exactly. Help over 80,000 borrowers. And then also apparently working on banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, enact universal background checks, requires safe storage of guns. I mean, these are common sense laws. And immunity from liability for gun manufacturers. I agree with that 100%.
How many times do we hear about a kid, a toddler, or any even adult get killed because the guns weren't in a safe? Well, what good do they do me in a safe? But they'll tell you, what good is it to have a gun in a safe if someone breaks into my house? Now you have figured out the whole point. It doesn't matter. Guns don't keep you safe no matter what, because either your kid's going to shoot themselves or you're going to get shot. But guess what? Most of those guns that are causing those crimes are not illegal guns.
I don't own one currently, but when I did, I had a thumbprint scanner safe.
Nice.
All you got to do is put your thumbprint on it. The gate drops right open. The gun's right there.
Put the gun safe in your bedroom if you want.
Right.
Do
it takes about a second and a half longer than if I would have grabbed it off my counter or the drawer.
And you know what's funny? Easy. You could keep it loaded in the safe if you want.
Yeah, and it's safe. Your kids aren't going to get to it because they don't have a thumbprint. There's so many ways you can prevent all the violence, but it's not even
that thumbprint is going to get stolen by the government. You don't forget.
Right, deep state. Now I might get shit for this. Now part of this is the guns, but we also have an entire political party pushing a violent and deadly agenda. They want chaos, they want violence, and I honestly at this point I'm convinced these morons will commit some sort of violence on behalf of Donald Trump between now and then in the next election. I think there will be violence, and I think people
larger scale than already happening.
Right. I will say that if you think we don't own guns on the left, you're very naive and stupid.
It's so funny. They think
if you're willing to throw your life away for some orange maniac fraud, liable for sexual assault, the guy that tries to overthrow democracy and shred the very fabric of the Constitution, if that's what you support, we can't help you. But I fear that that's what they want. They want the violence.
The funny part is they think that one redneck with 400 guns that they can only fire one at a time is somehow going to beat the pansy liberal. What they don't understand is just because you have an affinity for penis doesn't mean you don't like guns. Okay? Like we got to stop pretending that just because you're gay doesn't mean you don't want to defend yourself. And yes, I am a progressive liberal saying that you can have a gun to defend yourself. Of course you can. Sure, do it. But they think that the people on the left are like not going to fight for the freedom that we know is real. The freedom that you are fighting for as the right isn't freedom. That's fascism. You are fighting for the freedom to reinstate a fascist. We will be fighting to prevent that.
I would also like to point out that we also on the left have the full support as of right now of the United States government
and the military
and their highly trained military. Excuse me, and all the resources they have. So go for it.
Yeah.
All right. So before we close out and say our final thoughts here, let me play just Ben Meidas from the Meidas Touch Network. Actually got to interview Biden up in Pueblo, Colorado, where they're going. I think it was the largest wind turbine factory in the world. Something Lauren Boebert was against, and I love Biden's reaction.
In Pueblo, Colorado, gave an incredible speech. We're at the CS Wind Turbine Factory, the largest wind turbine factory in the world. You were talking about the Inflation Reduction Act and jobs being brought to cities and communities across the United States of America and
this is
here
Bober's
in
district,
Pueblo.
right?
And the MAGA Republican representative, though, of Pueblo, Colorado, is MAGA Republican Lauren Boebert. And she gives the alternative position there on the Inflation Reduction Act. And she says that the Inflation Reduction Act is a massive failure. And she said that it is another con by the Democrats. If I can, I want to.
All right, before he plays the video, I just want to show the class that Biden has in this moment, because if this would have been shown to Trump, he would have been like, "Oh, she's bird brain, dingbat," you know what I mean? He would have called her all kinds of names. Yeah, bobblehead Boebert. Actually, that's mine that I made up. But anyway, I just love the class, how he answers it. This is an elder statesman
because he's an actual adult.
Right. This is how an adult is supposed to behave. Thank you.
A video of MAGA Republican Lauren Boebert talking. I apologize in advance for even showing this to you, but
and it does the exact opposite of what Americans need right now. This is just another con game by the Democrats, calling something one thing and saying another.
She will not be reelected.
They cut her mic.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentlewoman is no longer recognized. The gentleman from Missouri reserves the belt.
Mr. Speaker, how much time do you need?
Oh, look at him. He's just getting a kick out of it.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. If it weren't so important to be humorous, unless you call it a massive failure, the only massive failure occurs in their thinking.
Oh, that's the perfect comeback. The perfect comeback from a gentleman. I'm sorry. Biden is a gentleman. and Trump is just this dirty old, like the perverted uncle that you don't like that comes over at Christmas. You know what I mean? That's
100%. Sit on Uncle Donnie's lap. Nope.
Yeah, please. That's why he likes to be Santa Claus on Christmas. The kids sit on. No, I'm not gonna say.
Don't.
Right.
No.
I'm not gonna go there.
I'll tell you though, I am about to meme the crap out of that image.
Oh, I know, right? I almost let it slip out. I apologize. Got too far.
I'll do it.
Sometimes the sarcasm gets out of hand. Mike, you got anything you want to close out with before we go?
I don't know. Enjoy your week, because hopefully you tune in Tuesday and it's not going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show, but it's going to drive you insane.
I'm going to be angry on that show.
But enjoy what you have left of today. Sorry you got to go to work Monday. I get it. But Tuesday, tune in for what is going to blow your freaking mind.
Yeah, right out. We're going to use their words against them. So it's not going to be, because I don't think I've seen progressive media and corporate media talk about Project 2025 and the things they want to do, but I've not seen anybody.
No, I want to skin it
words
and show
right
its
out
entrails.
of their page. It's going to be brutal and it's terrifying, horrifying. But anyway, I wish everybody would just calm down, man. Just start being nicer to one another. We don't need all this anger and this hate. It's just going to lead to one thing: violence. That's all it ever leads to. But anyway. Don't forget to follow. Thank you, Meidas Touch, for all the reporting and everybody else that we use for material. If you haven't followed them, please do. They're trying to get 2 million subscribers. And of course, don't forget to follow us, because we are just, super awesome guys and we're worth a subscription.
We think so.
Plus, we got a lot coming, man. We got an interview. We got a couple good interviews.
We got like surprising. Like, I think we're shocked at the interviews we're getting.
Yeah, we are actually surprised with some of the stuff we've been able to set up. We got multiple activist groups. We got people that are famous on other platforms that do activism type of work. It's going to be a great couple of weeks coming up here. Yeah. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day. And of course, we will always talk to you soon.